Chosen one, stop scrolling. Stop second-guessing. You didn't find this message. This message found you, and not by chance. Heaven is speaking right now, and if you don't listen, you may miss the most critical shift of your life. God said, "You are on borrowed time." This is not a warning to fear. It's a wake-up call to act. What you've been waiting for is not in the distance anymore. The promise is no longer on the way. It has arrived. And if you're still operating like you're in delay, you will be out of position when the door opens. You've been crying, fasting, asking for a sign, Jatin. This is it. This is the confirmation your spirit has been yearning for. But with the blessing comes responsibility. God is not asking you to wait. He's commanding you to move. This moment is sacred. The window is narrow. The time is short. If you do not shift now, in mindset, in discipline, in faith, you will be left standing in the same place while everything God released passes you by. Before we dive into this life-changing message, take a moment to pause this video and do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 95,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 99. This number will send a powerful signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this video. Not everyone will stay until the end, but if you're truly chosen, if your spirit knows this moment is divine, you won't click away, because you'll realize this is more than a video. This is a spiritual summons. Let's go deeper, before time runs out. This message is not ordinary. It's a sacred transmission from the very throne of heaven itself. Imagine a stillness broken by the roar of urgency, a call echoing through the cosmos, piercing the hearts of those who are awake. Heaven is not whispering. It's shouting with divine authority, alerting the chosen that the hourglass is nearly empty. This is more than a word. It's a celestial alarm, shaking the foundations of our reality. For too long, many have drifted in comfort, lulled by distractions and complacency. But now, the veil between the spiritual and natural is thinning, and a voice louder than any storm demands attention. God's chosen are being summoned, called out of shadows and into the light of their destiny. This broadcast is a lifeline, a beacon flashing in the dark, urging us to rise and prepare ourselves for what is unfolding beyond human comprehension. The weight of this message is heavy, yet filled with hope. It's a reminder that we are not alone in this tumultuous time, that the divine is actively moving, orchestrating every detail with precision. To ignore this call is to risk missing the moment when everything changes. So listen closely, beloved, for heaven's voice is speaking now, and it demands your full attention. We are living on borrowed time, moments stretched thin like fragile threads, ready to snap. The final window of grace is closing, and with it, the opportunity to align fully with God's purpose. This isn't a time for hesitation or delay. It's a fleeting chance to recalibrate, to purify, and to step into the calling waiting just beyond the horizon. Picture a door slowly shutting. You can almost feel the draft as it nears closure, the sound muffled but unmistakable. This door represents God's patience, his invitation to draw near before the coming shift seals the fate of all things. Grace has been abundant, but even the most enduring gifts have limits. This moment asks for boldness, faith, and a willingness to surrender fully. There's an urgency here that touches the soul, an emotional pull that's impossible to ignore. It stirs a deep longing for redemption and transformation. The countdown is real, and the stakes are eternal. Are you prepared to step through before the window closes, or will you find yourself caught on the other side, watching a destiny that could have been slip away? Many have been waiting for the shift, hoping it will arrive tomorrow, next year, or some distant future. But the truth is undeniable. The shift is not on its way. It is happening now, all around us. The earth trembles, the heavens roar, and the unseen spiritual realm moves with a velocity that cannot be stopped. Every moment is charged with change. Systems once stable are breaking, revealing their cracks and lies. What seemed immovable is now shaking. This is not speculation. It's the unfolding of divine prophecy in real time. Think about the rapid changes in global events, the upheaval in social orders, and the stirring in hearts worldwide. These are the unmistakable signs of the shift. For the chosen, this moment is both terrifying and exhilarating. It's a call to awaken fully, to recognize that the world you knew is dissolving and a new reality is emerging. Your role is critical in this transition. You are not a bystander, but a catalyst for transformation, a bearer of light in a world desperate for hope. The alarm clock of heaven is ringing loud and clear. This is no gentle nudge, but a resounding call to action, a spiritual siren breaking through the noise of everyday life. God's timing is perfect, and that timing is now. The moments we have taken for granted are swiftly slipping away, replaced by a divine urgency that cannot be ignored. Emotional readiness is essential. This isn't just about external preparedness, but an internal shift, a deep tuning of the heart, mind, and spirit. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast unknown, feeling both fear and faith entwined, knowing that every second counts. This tension is the heartbeat of the divine alarm clock, urging you to rise above distractions and focus on what truly matters. The message is clear. Don't wait for another warning. God's voice pierces the silence today, beckoning you to move decisively. The time for delay has passed. The hourglass is almost empty, and the call to awaken is louder than ever before. The ground beneath our feet is shifting. Political systems, cultural norms, even spiritual frameworks are being uprooted with breathtaking speed. This rapid displacement is shaking the very core of what we thought was secure. Lies that have been hidden for generations are now surfacing, exposing corruption, deceit, and darkness that has long lurked in the shadows. Consider how movements for justice and truth have erupted worldwide, breaking down old walls and challenging status quos. These are not random events. They are part of a divine orchestration to dismantle the old and make way for the new. It's like a great storm, uprooting dead trees to prepare the soil for fresh growth. For the chosen, this shaking is both a test and a sign of divine favor. The exposure of lies clears the path for greater clarity and purity. It's painful to watch beloved systems crumble, but it's also a powerful reminder that God is sovereign over all things, even chaos. The shaking signals that a new foundation is being laid, one rooted in truth and light. God's chosen are no longer to remain in the shadows, silent and unseen. This is a divine summons to step boldly into the light, to emerge from hiding with courage and clarity. The time for fear and hesitation is over. It's time to stand up and take your rightful place in the unfolding story of redemption. Think of a soldier called to the front lines, a dancer summoned to the stage, or a child invited to step into their inheritance. This call is personal, intimate, and powerful. It's a divine invitation to become who you were always meant to be, a light bearer, a warrior of truth, a voice for justice. This emergence is both sacred and risky. It demands vulnerability, faith, and unwavering commitment. But the reward is beyond measure, a life fully aligned with God's purpose, a destiny fulfilled, and a role in the great awakening sweeping across the earth. The season ahead is unlike any other, a spiritual lockdown appointed by heaven itself. This is a time when God will seal, cleanse, and reassign His chosen ones with divine precision. Imagine a sacred quarantine where only those aligned with God's heart will be sheltered and strengthened. This lockdown is not about confinement, but protection. It's a refining fire, a holy pause that purifies and prepares. Like precious metals tested by flame, the chosen will be refined, their hearts purified, and their spirits strengthened for the mission ahead. During this appointed time, distractions will intensify, but so will God's presence. The lockdown is a call to intentionality, to guard your space, focus your prayers, and rise in spiritual authority. This is a moment to trust the process and embrace God's plan, knowing that what is hidden now will soon be revealed. Warnings are not meant to frighten, but to motivate, to propel us from complacency into action. This is a call to move immediately, to stay alert, and to remain prepared in every way possible. The time to get ready is not tomorrow or next week. It is right now. Moving now means aligning your heart with God's will, shedding distractions, and stepping into obedience. It's about daily decisions that build spiritual momentum, prayer, fasting, fellowship, and surrender. These disciplines are the tools God uses to shape the chosen into vessels of power and purpose. Staying ready requires vigilance. The enemy will try to catch the unprepared off guard, but those who remain watchful and obedient will walk through every trial protected and empowered. This is the moment to rise, to shake off doubt, and to embrace the divine call with boldness. In the chaos of change, stillness becomes a sacred weapon. The spiritual quarantine calls us to quiet our souls, to retreat from noise and distraction, and to seek refuge in God's presence. It's in this stillness that we find clarity, strength, and protection. Think of it as a holy sanctuary, practice, and intention. It means saying no to the frantic pace of the world and yes to the rhythm of heaven. This quarantine is a divine invitation to slow down, refocus, and build an unshakable foundation for the battles ahead. As the spiritual realm intensifies its activity, many will experience emotional waves, moments of deep sorrow, overwhelming joy, or sudden clarity. Physical signs may accompany this activation: chills, warmth, or a sense of pressure. These are not coincidences, but divine markers signaling that you are awakening. This activation can feel disorienting, like being pulled through unseen currents, but it's also a confirmation that your spirit is responding to the call of heaven. These waves are God's way of shaking loose what no longer serves and preparing you for new heights. Honor these experiences. Journal your emotions, seek prayer, and remember that this process is both refining and empowering. You are not alone. Many are being activated at this time, and together you form a powerful wave of change. In this critical season, distractions are more than annoyances. They are weapons designed to derail you from your divine assignment. Social media noise, toxic relationships, and busyness can steal your focus and weaken your spiritual defenses. Guarding your atmosphere means creating boundaries that protect your heart and mind. It means choosing carefully what you consume, whether words, images, or company, and prioritizing what nourishes your soul. Like a fortress, your atmosphere must be strong and impenetrable. Remember, the enemy uses distraction to scatter your energy and cloud your vision. But those who diligently guard their space will find greater clarity, peace, and power. This is your sacred duty, to protect the ground where God's light can shine brightest. The old cycle is breaking, giving way to a new era of generational shifts. Patterns of defeat, limitation, and bondage that have plagued families and communities for generations are being dismantled. This is a moment of divine inheritance, where the blessings long awaited are now accessible. Think about the power of legacy, how the choices of ancestors ripple through time. Now, God is rewriting those stories, opening doors that were once locked. This shift means freedom from past curses and the ushering in of new levels of prosperity, healing, and purpose. Embrace this moment as a breakthrough for yourself and those who come after you. You are part of a greater story, a generational awakening that will reshape history. Your faith and actions today will echo for generations to come. God specializes in divine reversals. What the world sees as rejection, God transforms into elevation. Those who are last are being positioned to be first. This reversal is a hallmark of God's kingdom, where human expectations are upended and divine justice prevails. Consider biblical examples: David rising from a shepherd boy to king, Joseph moving from prison to palace. These stories echo a timeless truth. God's timing and methods are perfect, and no one is beyond his redeeming hand. This promise is for you today. No matter your current situation, God's reversal is at work. Trust the process, remain faithful, and prepare to see what was once a place of pain turn into a platform for your greatest triumph. There is a divine timetable marked by celestial signs and cosmic shifts. The countdown to the eclipse is more than astronomy. It's a prophetic symbol of hidden things coming to light. What begins quietly in the spiritual realm will soon be visible for all to see. This eclipse represents a convergence, a moment when heaven's plans intersect with Earth's reality. It's a reminder that God's work, though sometimes unseen, is always active and purposeful. What has been prepared in secret will now be unveiled. Prepare yourself to witness these revelations with awe and faith. The eclipse is a marker of destiny, a signpost that transformation is reaching its peak. Hold fast to hope, for the light is breaking through the darkness in ways you cannot yet imagine. Now is your moment to rise, chosen one. This is your prophetic appointment with destiny, a calling written in the stars and sealed by heaven's hand. The journey ahead will demand courage, faith, and resilience, but the reward is a life lived fully in divine purpose. Stand tall amidst the storm, knowing that you are equipped and empowered. The trials you face are shaping you into a beacon of hope, a warrior of light, ready to dispel the darkness. Your story matters, and your rise will inspire generations. Answer the call with boldness and grace. You were created for such a time as this. The heavens are watching, and the earth is waiting. Rise now, chosen one, and step into the destiny that God has ordained just for you. The clock in heaven has struck midnight, signaling the close of an era and the birth of a new age. This is no ordinary moment. This is the final countdown to a divine reset that has been ordained since the foundations of the earth. Every second now pulses with urgency, reminding us that the old rhythms are fading and a fresh, unstoppable cadence is taking over. Midnight carries a weight of both fear and hope. It is the hour of reckoning, when hidden agendas unravel and truth is brought to the forefront. For those watching with open hearts, it is a sacred sign that what has been promised is on the verge of manifesting. But for the unprepared, midnight is a wake-up call that they have run out of time. Imagine standing at the crossroads of eternity, knowing that the decisions you make in these moments echo forever. This is a time when the divine clock governs not just hours and minutes, but destinies. Will you heed the call, or will you be caught sleeping as the new dawn breaks? The final countdown is a summons to spiritual vigilance and bold action. It's a reminder that the time for casual faith is over. Now is the hour to embrace destiny, step into your God-given role, and join the divine movement, shaking the very fabric of existence. A colossal wave is rising, an unstoppable surge of spiritual, social, and cosmic change crashing toward every corner of the earth. This wave will dismantle old structures, overturn corrupt systems, and flood the world with divine truth and justice. Trying to resist it is futile. The best we can do is prepare to ride the wave and be transformed by its power. This wave of change will shake foundations, uproot lies, and expose hidden agendas. It carries with it the force of God's justice and mercy, sweeping away what no longer serves his kingdom. The impact will be felt in governments, communities, and hearts. Every individual will be invited to align with this movement or be swept aside. The preparation required is not passive waiting, but active positioning. This means strengthening your spirit through prayer, fasting, and obedience. It means standing firm in your convictions while remaining flexible enough to navigate rapid shifts. The wave will carry the faithful into new territories of influence and purpose. Fear not the impact, but embrace it with courage and faith. This is a divine tidal wave designed to cleanse and renew. When you prepare rightly, you won't be overwhelmed. You will be carried victoriously to the other side, ready to inherit the promises God has laid out for this new season. The kingdoms of this world, long thought invincible, are beginning to tremble. Thrones built on lies, greed, and oppression will be shaken to their core. What once seemed permanent will collapse, exposing the fragile nature of human power when faced with divine authority. This shaking is not random chaos. It is a purposeful act of God dismantling the reign of darkness. Political empires, corrupt leaders, and oppressive regimes will be unmasked and displaced. The earth will witness a great upheaval as divine justice sweeps through the halls of power. For the chosen, this shaking signals the opening of doors previously locked and the removal of obstacles. It is a call to stand unwavering in the face of intimidation and to trust that God's sovereignty transcends every throne. Your role is to proclaim the truth and walk boldly in the authority granted to you. Remember, the fall of earthly powers is the rise of God's kingdom on earth. The tremors shaking these thrones are the birth pangs of a new era where righteousness and justice reign supreme. Stand firm, knowing the King of Kings is already victorious. In this critical hour, words carry weight beyond measure. You are called to command the spiritual atmosphere with authority, declaring the heart of God over every situation. This is not the time for silence or fear, but for bold proclamation and prophetic speech that shifts realities. When you speak God's truth, you are wielding a powerful weapon against the darkness. Your words can calm storms, break chains, and release blessings. The atmosphere around you responds to your declarations, whether you speak life or doubt, breakthrough or limitation. Imagine a commander on the battlefield, directing troops with precision and confidence. You are that commander in the spiritual realm. Speak clearly, knowing that heaven's power backs every word. Your voice is a divine instrument designed to realign the earth with heaven's will. This calling demands intentionality and alignment. Spend time listening for God's voice, then boldly proclaim what you hear. Your words will stir heaven and shake the earth. Stand ready to command the atmosphere and see God's promises unfold. The sword of the Spirit, the Word of God, is your most powerful weapon in this season of spiritual warfare. Every word you speak, every scripture you declare, cuts through darkness and establishes truth. This sword is alive, active, and sharper than any two-edged blade, designed to protect, fight, and advance God's kingdom. In the midst of chaos and uncertainty, your weapon is not your might or strength, but your words infused with faith. The enemy fears the believer who wields the word with confidence. Your declarations carry the power to rebuke fear, silence lies, and tear down strongholds. Remember the stories of David facing Goliath and Jesus resisting temptation with Scripture. These moments show that words shaped by God's Spirit hold supernatural authority. You have access to that same power in this critical hour. To wield your sword effectively, immerse yourself daily in God's Word, pray for guidance, and speak with conviction. This is your season to fight boldly, knowing that your weapon is divinely empowered and destined for victory. Chains represent captivity, limitation, and bondage, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. But this is the season to break every chain holding you down. God's power is moving mightily to release His people from every form of captivity and limitation. Picture chains shattering, shackles falling away, and barriers crumbling before a relentless force. This breaking is not gradual, it is decisive and sweeping. The limits that once defined your possibilities are being erased. You are being set free to walk into the fullness of your God-given potential. This freedom comes through faith, courage, and obedience. It requires believing that God is greater than every obstacle and daring to step into uncharted territory. Nothing, no past failure, fear, or opposition can hold you back when God is breaking chains in your life. Embrace this liberation with joy and expectancy. You are a testimony of God's power to redeem and restore. The chains are breaking, and the road ahead is wide open. Walk boldly into the limitless future God has prepared for you. The gates represent strategic points of influence, spiritual, social, and personal. God is calling His chosen to occupy these gates, standing firm, to guard and advance His kingdom before the opportunity passes. This is your moment to take your position, to hold the line with courage and faith. Imagine a gatekeeper, vigilant and resolute, preventing the enemy's advance while welcoming those aligned with God's purposes. Your role is to be that gatekeeper in your sphere of influence, whether family, community, workplace, or church. The window to occupy these gates is closing rapidly. Hesitation means missed opportunities and vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Now is the time to stand strong, to pray fervently, and to act decisively to secure the ground God has entrusted to you. By occupying the gate, you become part of a divine strategy that ushers in revival, breakthrough, and transformation. Don't retreat. Advance with confidence, knowing that God has placed you exactly where you need to be for such a time as this. Heaven's armies are not idle. They are mobilized and moving swiftly on assignments that will shake the earth. Angels dispatched by God are carrying out strategic missions, guarding, fighting, delivering, and enforcing divine decrees. This is a supernatural strike force operating beyond human sight, but with immense impact. Understanding that you are backed by angelic forces brings reassurance and boldness. These celestial warriors fight battles on your behalf, dismantling enemy plans and opening doors of opportunity. You are not alone. Heaven is engaged in the fight alongside you. The presence of this strike force invites you to align with heaven's purposes through prayer and obedience. When you stand in faith, you amplify the effect of these angelic assignments, partnering in a spiritual synergy that cannot be overcome. Open your eyes to this divine reality. Know that heaven's strike force is active, and your role is to cooperate fully, standing firm in your faith as the battle intensifies. Prayer is not a passive ritual. It is a call to ignite heaven's fire on the earth. This fire consumes darkness, purifies hearts, and fuels revival. God is inviting his people to pray with power, passion, and persistence, becoming catalysts for breakthrough and transformation. Imagine the fire of Pentecost, a supernatural flame that empowered the disciples to move boldly and change the world. That same fire is available to you today, ready to burn away fear, doubt, and complacency. To call down fire, you must engage with intensity, pray with expectancy, declare God's promises aloud, and refuse to settle for lukewarm petitions. Let your prayers be infused with the urgency of the hour and the power of the Spirit. This is your season to see heaven's fire fall in mighty ways. When you pray with power, mountains move, strongholds crumble, and God's presence fills the atmosphere, breaking apart to make way for God's perfect blueprint. This is a divine renovation, tearing down structures built on compromise and rebuilding with foundations rooted in righteousness and divine wisdom. Tearing down the old requires courage and surrender. It means letting go of familiar patterns, outdated mindsets, and cultural norms that no longer serve God's purposes. Though painful, this process is necessary for the new creation to emerge. Building the new is a holy task, one that requires vision, faith, and diligence. God's blueprint is revealed through prayer, revelation, and obedience. It invites us to participate actively in constructing a future that honors heaven's design for justice, peace, and flourishing. As you engage in this divine work, remember that you are a co-creator with God. The old is passing away, and the new is rising. Your hands, heart, and voice are essential in establishing this glorious new order. The time for hesitation is over. The spiritual climate is charged, and every moment of delay risks missing the divine opportunity unfolding right now. God's voice is clear. Act boldly, move swiftly, and do not wait for perfect conditions, because they will never come. Waiting breeds doubt and fear, but action births faith and breakthrough. This moment demands courage and decisive steps, even if the path isn't fully illuminated. God often moves in the midst of uncertainty, calling his people to trust him by stepping out in obedience. Think of biblical heroes like Esther, Joshua, and Peter. Each faced moments where delay could have cost them destiny, yet their willingness to move in faith, even under pressure, triggered miracles and shifted the course of history. Your moment is just as critical. Rise above procrastination and fear. This is your season to embrace urgency with a confident heart, knowing God has already paved the way. Move now, because delay is the enemy of destiny. Darkness thrives in secrecy, but the light of God exposes all hidden things. This season will be marked by revelations. Secrets will surface, plots unravel, and lies be torn away like a veil from the eyes of the world. The unseen will become visible, and truth will no longer be silenced. This unveiling is uncomfortable for many, but liberating for those who love truth. As falsehoods are brought into the light, confusion gives way to clarity, and the righteous find renewed strength to stand. It is a divine purification process, shaking every hidden corner. Remember, Jesus said, "Nothing is hidden that will not be revealed." The exposure of what's been concealed is necessary for justice, healing, and restoration. What was once whispered in shadows will be proclaimed from the mountaintops. Prepare your heart for transparency and courage. Stand firm in the truth, even if it disrupts relationships or shakes foundations. God's glory shines brightest when darkness is exposed and defeated. The divine line between light and darkness is being clearly drawn, separating those who choose to walk in truth from those who cling to deception. This separation is not arbitrary. It is a divine sorting that defines destinies and aligns the earth with heaven's order. This is a moment of profound spiritual clarity. Hearts and motives are being tested. Choices will reveal where each person stands. The days of middle ground are fading. The call is to align fully with God's light, even when the path is narrow and opposition fierce. Walking in the light means living with integrity, courage, and unwavering faith. It means rejecting compromise and embracing the fullness of God's purpose for your life. It also means loving those in darkness while standing firmly against the forces of evil. The separation is both a warning and an invitation, a warning that neutrality is no longer an option, and an invitation to step boldly into the light, where God's power and presence transform lives and nations. From the throne of heaven comes your divine commission to march forward with courage, confidence, and unwavering faith. This is your time to step into the role God has prepared for you, knowing that His authority backs every step you take. Fear has no place in the heart of a chosen one. The enemy may try to intimidate, but your orders are clear. Advance relentlessly, stand strong, and refuse to retreat. The battle belongs to the Lord, and He is already victorious. Imagine an army receiving commands from their leader, moving with precision and unity toward a shared goal. That is your spiritual posture. You have a purpose, a mission, and the power to overcome every obstacle in your path.